welcome into the virtual carpooling, ladies and gentlemen. I have been waiting for a long time to get this gentleman into the car, and one of the ways he tried to escape me was relocating him, his lovely wife, and then having a couple of kids out there in Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, the original Search for a Star co-host of the Rhode Show, which is a local TV show here. He's out there on TV. He's on your radio. He is everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Shawn Tempesta. And if I was half as talented as you, I'd be running this like the free-for-all with like the graphics flashy and, you know, I'm pushing like weird buttons and stuff and getting applause and like, you have so many things going on. You are the king of media. And it's great. You really are. I mean, TV by morning, radio by day. You have the ability to simulcast all across the globe, right into the ears of your fans and the hearts of those who adore you. Myself, wow. Mary Larson,
I miss Mary.
Maybe Brendan Kirby. I don't know about him, but you know, it's.
I like Brendan. I was on his public access show. We are public access brothers.
Yeah.
So yes, I appreciate myself some Brendan Kirby.
So. We'll get to the public access thing in a minute. How are you? How's everything going, and how's the family doing with all this Rona?
We're losing our minds. You know, we've been really super fortunate. Like, I've kept my television job. I've kept my radio job. My wife has kept her job. We're doing everything from home. Not everyone has that opportunity, so we are absolutely counting our blessings. But, being stuck inside the house and opening up your news feed and seeing every day that 2020 keeps saying, hold my beer. And it's been so many beers have been held this year that it's just like, I'm ready to get off the ride.
Sure.
If there was a pill, and I'm not a big pill taker, but if there was a pill that said, this will make you go night-night for another 12 months, you could wake up in July 2021, I would take it yesterday.
Or if there was a pill that said, hey, this could help you with the Rona, which they're having good success with that in your home state, Massachusetts. So congratulations
Moderna,
to you,
yeah.
sir.
We'll see.
We'll see a lot of variables still in play, ladies and gentlemen.
Once it's readily available, I mean, because there's some jerks that aren't going to take it. Oh, well, it's a conspiracy, and Bill Gates has microchips in it. If that's the case, then fine. Once it's readily available, if you don't want to take it, fine.
Yeah.
Whether or not you pass away is not on me anymore.
Yeah.
But if you want to take it, awesome. Just make sure that the people that need the protection can get the protection, and if you don't want to get it, like it's the flu shot, and you're just going to skip it, then fine. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
How's the wife and kids doing? You're naturally born Vegas Knights fans.
Yes, Vegas Knights fans. Actually, I have my Vegas Knights mask here.
Look at that.
It doesn't fit my head because I have a really large head. There it is.
You and I suffer from the same situation of just massive noggin syndrome.
Big domes. They're doing really good. They're huge Golden Knights fans. My oldest went to pretty much every game the first season. They're doing all right. You know, we've been spending obviously a significant amount more time with them. I see about as much of them as I usually do, maybe like an hour more a day. Yeah. But I'm working so much and I'm doing it all upstairs. The kids are downstairs and my wife's got kind of her office down there in the kitchen now. So we're doing all right. We're just all kind of just, it's exhausting. This whole thing. 2019 was a bad year for me. Like I got hit by a tractor trailer. I got brutal food poisoning to the point where I passed out. A lot of bad things. And I'm like, I can't wait for 2020. 2020 is going to be so great. I can't wait. Yeah. Barbara Walters, Hugh Downs, they were saying it for years. This is 2020. I'm like, this is going to be great. The worst.
Yeah. No, I hear you. We thank the lucky stars for our health, and we keep on doing what we do. So we touched back to the public access. Not many people know the Shawn Tempesta story. So just short of the story of your mother rushing to the hospital for your birth, talk to me about how you got into media, and because you did start with public access, and you've always had this drive, this knack to just tinker and just make things work.
If I may, just to call back to the big head, my mom had 18-hour labor. Oof. So there we go. Now we go from that to public access.
Sainthood.
Yes, really. Stitches. I was 6 and I was watching television, and I would watch two things religiously. I'd watch the news, which is weird as a kid. I would watch Channel 7 in Boston before it was like the big flashy 7, and I'd watch Double Dare. Okay. And then it started to click to me wait a second, these are jobs and they're actually getting paid to do that. I want to do that. So there's a public access station in my hometown, Revere, Massachusetts, and I would see the bulletin board. Whenever there wasn't anything airing, they'd show the bulletin board and have information about the station and about the city. And tomorrow's school lunch will be meatloaf. And but they had a slide that said, "Do you want to be on TV?" And I saw this, and I told my dad. And my dad brought me by the studio. So when I was 8 years old, I went to the public access station to learn the ins and outs. This shows you how incestual this industry is. So I'm being taught how to white balance and edit and do camera, and I'm helping. I'm not on camera at this point, but I'm 8 and I'm just learning. Fast forward, wow, I can't do quick math, but like maybe almost 20 years. I moved to Vegas in 2010.
Yep.
Who is working at my television station but Ivo Carmelli, the man who taught me how to do TV at that public access station 20 years before. Yes.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, that's
crazy.
That's worse than a Rhode Island story. I mean, usually a Rhode Island story is like 1.5 steps. You worked in this market, obviously, for a little over a year, doing the Rhode Show stuff. You got, you really helped to launch, I can think back in the day, traveling around with Rick Valls, you're doing all the great shoots with us and Nick Ronapete, and just having such a great time on top of everything else you were doing. That was really a huge step forward for you. What was that process like? I mean, again, another thing where it was, you were doing different things. I believe you were already doing radio at that point up in Boston. But it was one of those things that just kind of popped up and said, "Hey, how'd you like to be on TV again?"
I was doing radio up in Boston. I was also doing it at Fun 107 in Fairhaven.
Okay.
And the pride of Warren, other than yourself, Jeff Keegan. Keegan reached out to me. He called on the request line, and he told me that there's this show that's supposedly going to be launching. Now, I don't get the Providence channels where I live, so I'm like, oh, really? So I turn on 12 when I'm at Fun 107, and I'm starting to see the promos there. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. Now, I had a dark tooth. I didn't catch a baseball. The only girl on my team, we were practicing. I got the ball right in the tooth. Lost the tooth, popped it back in. That one was fine. Next one next to it got a root canal. I needed to get that fixed. I got that fixed about a week before I found out about this. So I only had this new tooth for 2 weeks. I had a gray tooth.
Okay.
Got it replaced, did the audition. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have gotten the job, because who wants a gray tooth guy on TV?
Sure.
So 140 some odd people tried out, and it was all because Jeff Keegan told me about the audition. I would have never have known if he didn't tell me. So yeah.
He is East Bay royalty around here. He is legendary in and of itself.
He's a mensch.
He's a good guy. And so you did that, and then after that year, you started, okay, how can I explore? How can I make this bigger? I remember you driving cross country, and this was before Facebook Live. This was before most common live streamings like Periscope or YouTube Live. Yeah. You were driving. I was in my office in Cardi's, and it just popped up. And actually, Pete Cardi walked into my office and goes, "Is that Shawn?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Is this a video of him?" I said, "No, he's live driving." He goes, "Wow, he figured it out. When will everybody else?" And I literally just talked about this, because that wasn't when I drove cross country. I visited Vegas, and I had the laptop with me, and I had, I think, a Wi-Fi puck from WPRI. Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I have a webcam.
Sure.
I've got this. I've got the puck. Let me see if I can go live. So I drove around Las Vegas and had the little webcam up on. I had two. I had one pointing at me, and then I'd switch the camera to point outside so you could see where I was driving. And now that's no big deal. Everyone can do that on their phone. But then it was like, I just wanted to see how far it could go, and it was pretty cool.
That was incredible. So you've always been this person for as long as I've known you, that's able to make production value something that most people can't, and that, I think, is what helps set you apart from a lot of other people who are in the industry. And I don't want to use the term like a one-trick pony, because I know everybody's working harder and doing more, but essentially they become a one-trick pony because all they can do is their basic gig. You force yourself to learn all these different things, and you do this. It's called the free-for-all. It's part of your radio show. It's part of your radio persona out there. It's at Mix 94.1.
X94.1, yeah.
And the point 94.1. It's written in the script there. I can read.
We thought about getting rid of the point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're the #1 station. We've been around for 20 years. Keep the point. No one wants to mess with it. Just leave it.
Yeah. There's no point in losing the point.
Hey.
But you've gone from just, talking in between songs and giving updates and everything to where you've created this interactive video component. I remember when it started, and I actually remember you doing it on your private Facebook channel, and you were testing things. And I logged in, and your reaction was like, "Oh, good, Ben's here. He can help me. He'll tell me what's really going on." Because you'd have some people who are trying to help, like, "Oh yeah, no, it looks great.
Good.
I can't hear you." It's like I was texting, "No, this looks good. Change." You really you pulled it together. Now I was watching the other night. You had 4 other people on with you. It became kind of this talk show via the internet. It was streamed on Facebook. Do you stream it on any other platforms, or is it just
I do Facebook and Twitch.
Okay.
I don't do Twitter because I can't pull the comments, and I was doing YouTube, but no one is there for me for our radio station.
Sure.
So I just decided to skip it.
Well, you can only do so much. You can only do so much.
Well, there's only so much bandwidth. The whole thought process behind my job, to boil it down to the simplest of terms as an afternoon host, is say the station name, promote something coming up, here's the artist you're listening to.
Yeah.
So if all my job is saying, here's Adele, I'm done. This industry, you need to be able to do more than that. And this is where the public access thing comes in. Is public access, you got to do it yourself. You've got to, you're not always going to have a crew of 5 people that are going to do all of your bidding. Mm-hmm. So I've wanted to learn how to do everything, so I can walk into a place and say, yes, I bring all of this. This is everything I bring. I'm not just this, I'm everything. And I'm trying to make myself, especially in a time like this, if there's going to be any layoffs, I want to be at the bottom of the list, or at least as close to it as possible.
Sure, absolutely.
So I had a morning show opportunity in the city. And my goal is to do a radio morning show. I love television, but if I had to pick one gig, it would be a morning radio show. I had an opportunity in the city, and I decided to invest in myself, and I bought thousands of dollars of the camera equipment and computers, and that whole production was supposed to be for that station. And I got offered the gig, but I could just tell something was amiss with this GM, and I was right. By the time my non-compete ended, that GM would have been gone. The station was blown up. I had a feeling.
Sure.
So, but I had all this equipment. I said, I'm going to start doing this talk show. And they're like, well, we really want you to focus on the show. I'm like, guys, let me do this. I can do these breaks in my sleep.
Right.
So we started doing this talk show. Everyone would come into the station, and it's a round table just talking about pop culture stuff. COVID happens.
Yeah.
Didn't realize how important it would be during COVID. So now I'm able to remotely bring everyone in, kind of like we're doing right now.
Sure.
And we play games, and we just kind of try to be the antidote for COVID. So everyone that's staying at home when they typically be out doing stuff, now we can all kind of commiserate together, and is getting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views a show. And it's good for the brand. It's good for me, and it's good for the viewers. So
I think that's something that is just been overlooked in so many cases. When sports went away, and everybody that famous night, that famous announcement we started hearing, from it was basketball games where they're saying
the NBA.
Yes.
On the same day, the NBA announced that they were Dunzo, and then Tom Hanks, we found out he had COVID.
Right. I think I believe it was March 13th, or pretty close to it, because it was the same night. The night that Trump addressed from the Oval Office, talking about different things, and it was just like that announcement is going to go down in infamy. That PA announcer, shout out to my fellow PA announcers out there. With the you're all safe, we're all safe, but due to unforeseen circumstances, it's been postponed. And you can hear somebody in the background, probably in the front 2 rows, just screaming, "Ah!" It's like, you're safe, you're fine, you're fine. That was the moment where everything really just started changing. It wasn't March 13th. It was, I think, March, a few days prior to. Either way, everything just started domino effect right there. NHL was next. Baseball, they just I talked with Josh Ockamy of the Red Sox organization. He said, dude, it was the weirdest thing. They just literally came in and said, go home. Well, should we? Are we coming back? Just go home.
Just go home. Yeah.
Go home. And it's just been a whirlwind. But you've people, when they lost the sports and you can only watch so many shows. Exactly.
Yeah.
And after you've been on Zoom calls all day, the last thing you want to do is watch your favorite TV show play out in a Zoom call as, okay, that was cute for like 10 minutes. And then it was like, okay, people are looking for something different. I've seen my numbers spike with this show. You obviously are seeing something different with your show because you're just bringing in an awesome cast of characters on a fairly regular basis. I mean, what's the official schedule for you guys?
So we are 7 p.m. Pacific to whenever it ends. So like 8:30 usually. By the way, I had a healthy paranoia about. I'm not the paranoid guy, but I watched a Joe Rogan podcast, and he had a viral immunologist on like 2 weeks prior to that announcement.
Really?
And I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be serious." I bought a freezer, and I had totally filled it with everything, and I bought a whole bunch of dry goods. And then the last day I went shopping was the day that the NBA announced, and then the next day all the toilet paper was gone. It was like everything went crazy. But yeah, so what? I kind of saw this coming down the path a bit, and I was like, you know what? We can produce more programming. We can do, I'll read books to kids, and I did that for a couple months. I read your book actually.
Yes. Yep.
And I just, trying to, okay, if this is what it's going to be, then let's try to be more to people than just the radio station, because let's call it what it is. Radio kind of depends on drive time. It depends on people getting in their cars and driving to work. Well, if that's not there, but they're a fan of us on Facebook, let's serve them in a different way. Mm-hmm. And, it's not hard. We're just getting, and frankly, I'm fortunate enough to still have a job, but the people that I've had on are either former employees of the station or furloughed employees of the station, or just friends or former interns. And they just want to have a platform, and they're funny and they're good people. Yeah. And they are so dependable. So yeah, just, getting funny people together, doing funny things. We give away, we do contests for actual money. Wow. We'll play like Press Your Luck or Family Feud or Wheel of Fortune, but we don't play for dollars because I can't afford that. So we play for Vietnamese dong.
Oh. All right.
So if you win 50,000, you win it in dong, and then I convert that to American dollars, and I save a lot of money. It's just way cheaper that way.
It's like 30 cents or something pretty close.
Like
the cost of crossing the Mount Hope Bridge back in the day.
Inflation's a bitch.
Hey, what are you gonna do? How has it been for you producing this kind of content, because you're doing TV from home, you're doing radio from home? How has it been for your own psyche, your own mental health during this? I mean, for me, I should say, my perception is of you, just knowing you the way I do, this has been perhaps a marriage saver, perhaps a lifesaver in general.
If I spent all my time downstairs, it's definitely a marriage saver, I promise. So you know what? It's been a mixed bag. Initially I went into it with a lot of energy, and I'm like, you know what? This is an opportunity, and let's just make the most of it. We all have to eat this crap sandwich, so let me put some mustard on it and try to make it palatable. I started getting burnout, and I just got so exhausted. And I'm not a depressed type. Yeah. But I got so down, and I just it was just a constant. I feel like a lot depends on me. The television show, because we're doing it remotely, I'm using the same software that I use for Free for All. Yeah. So the TV show depends on me. So if I take a day off, everyone on the show is taking a day off. Yeah. They can't do it without me right now. Mm-hmm. The radio station, that's not as tough. And then Free for All, there are people, frankly, that have been watching us every single day for months that when we're not there for a day are genuinely DMing me and saying, I miss you guys. Yeah. When are you coming back? Yeah. So after a few months, I was getting really, really tired. And I said, you know what, I'm going to have to take a week off. And we got some shows in the bag for the TV show. We went off air for Free for All for a week. And then I took my oldest son, who's 3.5, and we hit the road, and we drove down to Southern California. Went down the Angeles Crest Highway, went to the Hollywood sign, went up the Big Sur Highway, which is right along the coast.
Yeah. Wow.
I took a picture in front of Google, went to the Golden Gate Bridge, went to the Redwoods for a day, which, by the way, if you've never been to the Redwoods, I'm not a tree hugger. It is some of the most amazing, just bring you back to center time you could ever have. It's fantastic.
You think it's like
my kid?
Is it like a half step above the Blue Hills like hiking area in Massachusetts?
It is
like a half step above. Yeah.
Yeah, a hair. It's there's this one road, and like this, I've been there once before, and I wanted to go back because it's my happy place. Like it's so awesome that I want my ashes, should I ever die, which we're working on it, but I'm sure it'll happen. I want my ashes to be spread at this place. This is a road called Matali Road.
Okay.
And on this road, you'll see deer. You'll see there's a farm that has zebras on it. There are cows and horses that are just kind of like roaming the hills and eating and grazing on the hills. There's a beach with an estuary that is absolutely stunning, rolling hills everywhere. It is otherworldly. It is so amazing. And it just is so like awe-inspiring to the point where you're just like, you can't help but just be de-stressed having done it.
Sure.
So yeah, I went there, and now I'm kind of in my second wind right now, and I'm trying to have some excitement again.
Well, it seems like some things are starting to open up. You're seeing a little bit of creep up in certain areas, but there is hope. There is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. For those who want live sports, you can watch soccer. And
Korean baseball.
A big one if you're in the gambling side of things and you want to get it on.
Yes, there's actually here are the sports I've been watching. Two great sports to watch. Okay, you got marble racing.
Yes.
Jelly's marble races are fantastic on YouTube. Another thing to watch on YouTube, there's this channel called Jomez Pro.
Okay.
It is disc golf.
Oh, okay.
Phenomenal.
Really?
It is so good. The production quality is so good, and it's a fun game.
Really?
And it's approachable because you're like, it's just throwing frisbees into a basket. I could do that. And there's disc golf around you, and it's a relatively social distance sport. So yeah, that's fun too.
Are you going to be getting your guys into the disc golf? Are you going to build up like a little
arsenal
hole with the chains so you can throw it and try to get it?
This weekend I'm actually going to go buy myself some discs. I
really?
think I might. Yeah, you know what? Just just something to do. You got
to do something.
Exactly.
What is the rest of the summer look like for you as far as everything? I mean, I know there's not a whole heck of a lot going on, but up your sleeve there must be a few things you're excited about, even if it's just some family time or whatever you're planning to do.
Well, work in progress. So I just bought a new laptop, comes in tomorrow, and it's a strong, like freaking, it's a beautiful, just a beast. And that's strong enough to run the TV show from and to run the free-for-all from.
Okay.
So once I have that, all then I really need is an internet connection. So work from home doesn't necessarily mean my home. So the goal is head back to the Northeast.
Okay.
And to do the show from there for an extended period for as long as this, maybe it's just a couple months. We head back and we come back again in the winter time, whatever the case. Who knows, where we are in the winter. But just, if we're going to work from home, all I need is good internet, and it doesn't matter which home I'm at.
Right.
Show's still going on the air. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And, things are opening here, but they're closing too. Like the bars reopened, but then they closed.
Yeah.
The casinos are open, but now there's a mask mandate. You have to wear masks everywhere. And, it's just, I'm just hoping that we get our act together because we could probably nip this thing in the bud. Every other country seems to have gotten a pretty good handle on this. Yeah. So if we stop being so proud, we could probably get a handle on it too.
Fingers crossed on that, big guy. Fingers crossed on that.
We'll see.
Where can people find you online? Just searching your name, correct?
Yeah, Shawn Tempesta, ShawnTempesta. On social, all over the place. I miss Rhode Island immensely. When I left Rhode Island, I didn't want to. I mean, the Rhode Show was a 1 year and done gig at that point. Sure. So I loved it there. It was the best year of my life. I would probably say it was in Rhode Island. That was amazing, and I have an incredibly high regard for the city and in the state, and I look forward to maybe making it back there one day. I'm high hopes. Maybe in 42 years, Giovanni will retire. At the humble age of 137.
He looks amazing for his age now, and
does.
I'm sure he'll look great then.
He looks better than ever.
He really does. He is a fine wine, aging gracefully.
He's svelte.
He is. Folks, he is Shawn Tempesta. Go follow him online, see where he's performing, and performing on your computer. I make it sound like, the Shawn Tempesta show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, it's something, but your free-for-all is great, and people can stream you, see the show. It's great. You're a good man, and please give my best to your entire family. If you do make it over to this side, we can have a little bit of fun getting together, and you're disappearing on me, Shawn. What's happening? Uh-oh.
I'm trying to... Oh, God, where is it? Hold on. I know it's here somewhere.
He's looking.
Hold on. Where is it? I think. Hold on. Oh, I found it. There it is.
Look at that. Show promotion, ladies and gentlemen.
I got my NIROPE.
That's it. I got the baseball edition right here.
I saw them, yes.
Got the baseball edition,
All the way to Vegas. It's here, and it's on my wall of Rhode Island.
Absolutely.
So, yes, love those places.
They're good people, and they miss you as well. We miss you. Be safe. Take care of yourself, and we will see you real soon, man.
I want one of these in the car one day. Please, let's do it.
We will make that happen with food.
2022. Yes.
Hopefully. Please.